Hello and welcome to the Boys Upstairs Show. We are joined full house today. Absolute full barn. Packed to the gills. Martin Weisz, thank you for being here once again. Jake Lewis, Sandy Weisz, Cam Williams, Scott McCabe from Ireland. First show in America ever. Nickson Frezin, first show in here as well. Sean has relocated over there. So we're here today, obviously, middle of summer, middle of off-season for the NFL. And we're going to go ahead and get into Jake's top 20 quarterbacks going into this season. So, Jake, take the floor.
So when you're bored at work, you can spend countless minutes on making meaningless lists, which is what I've been doing for the past week and a half or so. So I ranked the top quarterbacks projected into 2022. So I based half of the ranking on what you did last year and what I know about you and what you can do. And then I based half of it on the team you play for, your surroundings. I'll just start right away with Trevor Lawrence. Last year, you can make an argument he was statistically the worst quarterback in the league. But is that really his fault? No. Urban Meyer put a dark cloud over that franchise. Trevor's the most hyped prospect since Andrew Luck, maybe even since Elway. I got him at 20. 19, Trey Lance. Now, I know Trey Lance has thrown like 10 passes in the last 5 years.
Yep.
But I think you can put just about any quarterback in his surroundings with Kyle Shanahan, Deebo Samuel, George Kittle. I think Trey Lance, can he be Garoppolo or better? Because I'm projecting that Trey Lance is going to start. If Garoppolo was the starter, he would be right around the same tier list. I mean, so I think he can be Garoppolo or better. I have him at 19. Tannehill, that Bengals game.
Mm-hmm.
He's trending down.
It's exposed a little bit.
They drafted Malik Willis. It looks like they're ready for a change. You might say, oh, well, you have him ahead of Trey Lance and Trevor Lawrence. Well, those dudes are trending up. Daniel's trending down. Jalen Hurts, it looks like he's won the trust over the Eagles organization, their players.
In the playoffs last year.
And they made the playoffs. I thought they'd be terrible. He got into the playoffs, and they went out and got him a home run hitter, A.J. Brown. So make it or break it, your form. I think he's going to do decent, having 17. Mac, best first-year quarterback from last year. However, is Joe Judge going to be calling their plays? I think that he's going to have the same type of, output as he did from last year. Not great wide receivers running. Then Matt Ryan, your Colts guy, model of consistency, great O-line, great run game.
Former MVP. MVP.
Matt Ryan is a former MVP.
Yeah.
And they might have a future MVP in the backfield with Jonathan Taylor.
Exactly, yeah.
Model of consistency, I got him at number 15. Critique me.
Yeah, no, so my immediate thing is, I get that Trey Lance has better weapons around him, but,
Yes.
if this is just ranking these two, what did Trey Lance do better than Trevor Lawrence last year?
It's a projection for next year.
But
No, last year he's unranked. He played 2 games.
I get it, but you're basing it going into this year.
That's correct.
What do you think he did last year that proved to you that he was a better prospect? Trevor was first pick in the draft. Do you think that he had that bad of a year that the guy that you only saw twice ever throw a pass is definitely better?
Trevor has Christian Kirk, but I'm projecting it for who'll be better next year. Because Mac Jones was the best guy last year.
Yeah.
So, and no one thought, and he was the 5th quarterback pick. So everyone in the league expected him to be the 5th guy. He was the 5th guy pick. But I think Trey Lance is underrated. I think he's going to surprise people. I have him at 19. It might be a little bit too low. I think he's going to, and he's the biggest X factor in the league. If he's good, they might win 12 games. Number 14, my guy for the purple and gold. Listen, last year he was 4,000 yards passing, 33 touchdowns, 7 picks. He can't win the big games, I understand, but the reason we've been sub 500 the past 2 years is because of our defense, not our offense. Kyler, does he hate football all of a sudden? He wants a contract. Listen, talent-wise, he's probably better than Dak and Derek Carr, but it's the attitude, and he wears down at the end of seasons. He has to prove it to me, and that's why I have him at 13. Dak, listen, I'm sorry.
Yep.
I just feel like the 11 guys I have in front of them, they may have better surroundings, better coaching. You're going to see the top 10, better things around them. And Dak's got subpar coaching with Mike McCarthy. But listen, it's an easy division. He should win more. He's been 500, and last year they won. But I feel like when you watch him play, does he ever make a throw where you're like, oh my God, that was a rocket. That really blew my mind. The other guys I have in front of him, I feel like those guys are more wow quarterbacks, and I trust them to win big games better instead of running for a quarterback draw on 13.
Are you wowed with Derek Carr? Does he wow you when you watch?
He's got Devontae Adams now.
Yeah,
That's
I was about
why
to say
I have
that.
him ahead.
It's
a projection for next year. Dak had a better year than Derek Carr last year. But Derek Carr, statistically,
Well, and Derek Carr did a lot more with a lot less.
I was going to say, Derek Carr last year had the Bengals this close to not even sniffing the next
100%.
round. And they ended up winning, getting to the Super Bowl. So I like Derek Carr. That's why I probably would even have him inside my top 10 just because of that. And the fact that he has Devontae, he has, I forgot the tight end's name, Waller. So he has weapons now. And
it feels like for the first time in a while he's in a stable organization. Like, so they found a coach. I think Josh McDaniels will learn from what happened in Denver. He'll be better. The coaching situation last year was a disaster with Rooney. And then he lost his home run threat with Henry Ruggs. Terrible situation. We're not going to talk about that. But now he's got Devontae Adams. Best friend, and I think they want to make it work. And so if you're Devontae, so you left Aaron, who's foils in the top 3 on this list. Like, he's got something to prove to. I think they're going to be hungry. Tough division, but I like Derek 11. Let's get controversial. No. In football matters only.
It better be football matters.
He's a top 10. The last time we saw him play, he led the league in passing yards, 33 touchdowns, 7 picks. Listen, if you want to remove him from the list, because he's not going to play this year. And
that's the thing.
If Jake Lewis was the commissioner of the league, he would have been suspended for the year 2 weeks ago. I don't know what the fuck they're doing. But so then, if you want to take him out of the list, fine. And then there's Derek Carr at 10. He enters the top 10. But top 10, he's top 10 talent-wise. When he comes back, because he's going to play again next year, Rob. I think he's going to play again. But listen, he's a better quarterback football-wise than Derek Carr. Football. I would rather have Derek Carr, Dak, or Kyler Kirk lead my organization because of this off-the-field stuff is a disaster. But he's better at football than those guys. He's a top 10 quarterback in my eyes.
I understand your point, but it's like, of 2022 is the list. He's not playing in 2022. So for that reason, I don't think they should be on.
Oh, so you can take him out. That's fine.
But talent-wise, he is a top 10 quarterback in the NFL.
I've been looking at the screen for like 20 minutes now. How did you find a picture of R. Kelly with eyebrows?
I was waiting for you to song.
It's not the Sean Watson. I didn't see that. And then he's wearing his eyebrows. Like, how did you? What did you do? Why did I go to wear eyebrows?
Yeah. It's just funny though to compare Derek Carr and Deshaun Watson at 10 and 11 because they are polar opposite of like morally. Like Derek Carr has like led the team last year despite every possible thing that could have gone wrong.
I told you my criteria. It was 50% based on what I've seen you do the last time you played. The last time that he played, he was great on the field. Okay. And your situation, not off the field situation, because he'd be dead last.
Browns are
but
nice. Browns are
Hunt,
good.
Nick Chubb, Amari Cooper, Miles, they got some stuff.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Like if he was playing this year and none of the off the field stuff mattered, you pick him to go like 11-6, 12-5.
Right.
Now listen, he should be suspended. I'm not advocating he should play. He's a bad, and it's really hard to believe the way he answered his press conference. It's terrible. But in my eyes, football-wise only, he's a top 10.
But we take Deshaun Watson out of that list. Okay, so say we erase him.
Yeah, go.
Are you saying Derek Carr is a top 10 quarterback?
Yeah.
That's correct.
Absolutely.
I agree with that too.
That's correct. That's correct.
Wait, you know what? I'm not going to sit here and say Dak Prescott. I don't know what to make of Dak Prescott, right? As you said earlier, he should be higher on that list of, he should be higher with the talent that he had. I say had because all the Cowboys seem to have done this offseason is lose talent. We lost Amari Cooper now. Zeke is supposedly in the best shape.
He's getting worse and worse.
He's getting worse. And I will say we held on to our coaching, so that's another element there. But Dak, 1-4 in the playoffs. Man,
It's rough.
what do
They
you
lost Amari Cooper, number 1 receiver.
Yeah.
He's gone.
Yeah.
Dak, the one thing I will say is that last season was rehab season, so now he has a full healthy offseason, so that could be something. But yeah, he could.
I could see CD being a wide receiver 1 for sure.
Oh, he has to.
But it's like at the end of the day, it's like CD could step up, but Devontae Adams is Devontae Adams. So like that's why Derek Carr is.
And that's why I will actually accept that. I'll take Dak there because I don't know. As a Cowboys fan, I don't know what to expect going into the season, and like you previously said, I struggle to be wowed sometimes by my Cowboys. Sometimes Dak will look amazing, other times there'll be a 49ers game that needs me jumping into the RSC. So we'll move on from that. So,
Just one quick thing about him before we go on. I'm pretty sure, correct me if I'm wrong, you would know better than me because you're a fan of the team. I think they went undefeated last year against their division.
Yeah.
And 6-6 against their division.
We were flying. I will say though, the injury I think played a factor in a bit of that.
Against the Patriots, he screwed up.
Yeah.
It was a shoulder. Or
Got a knock in the leg. CD got the game winning touchdown.
Were you guys 8-1 at one point?
Yeah, it was going well. This is prior to the injury. So as you said, if this injury was as bad as it might have been, are we going into the season fresh? And look, I'm optimistic, but I'm not going to sit here and say he should be any lower because honestly, I don't know what to expect from him this season. So I respect it. Unless some of the other boys move on, I'm intrigued to see what we have after the show here.
Yeah.
What's funny is the genesis of me making this list was to prove Kirk Cousins was a top 15 quarterback, and none of you said shit.
I'm not gonna
about
lie.
him being 14.
Listen,
I think I just won that.
So like, my reason for not saying anything is, what do we always say about Kirk Cousins?
He can't win the game.
No, he's the epitome of mediocre average. So that's why he's perfect at 15, like 16, whatever. Like that's where he should be.
Middle of the pack.
yeah, middle.
He
He's
is
a
middle of the pack. He
quarterback.
defines mediocre.
But he's top 15.
He can be 15.
15 out of what, 32?
Out of 35. Oh, by the way, spoiler, I have Drew Lock 35th. There's 32 teams. I have Drew Lock 35th. I like to make fun of Drew. All right, cream of the crop here. So pretend we're in Las Vegas, Caesar's Palace, Bellagio, The Hangover. They stayed at that awesome suite. You remember that? Top of these hotels, like villas and super nice suites. Pretend these quarterbacks are all staying in one of the nice hotels. These 9 dudes, these are the elite. Like they're on the top floor of Caesar's Palace. Matt Stafford just won the Super Bowl on a game-winning touchdown pass on a game-winning drive when he had one wide receiver who was above average. I got to put him at number 9. A lot of people gave a lot of credit to Aaron Donald and Cooper Kupp. Cooper Kupp got the MVP. Aaron Donald made this huge stop at the end. Stafford's the 9th best quarterback in the NFL in my eyes. Russ, I think Denver's going to be the most improved team in the league this year. He's going to be the reason why.
Let's ride.
Let's ride. He is the...
Broncos country. Let's ride.
People are prisoner of the moment because last year was his first bad year he's ever had in terms of wins and losses. He's hungry. He has an offensive-minded head coach who's going to let him throw the ball. He's the 8th best quarterback in the league. Number 7. I know you guys are saying, wow.
I was wearing a shirt.
I know you guys are saying, wow, Jake's
There's
subjective. He's my favorite player by a million miles.
Mine too.
If we were to rank this list based off of Apex, how good are these guys when they're at? If all these quarterbacks play at their absolute best, then rank them, he'd be number 1.
Yeah.
The Colts game, 37 of 43, 450 yards passing,
Perfect passer rating. Jesus.
He at his best, he's the best player in the league. I will go to my grave saying that. But then he has games like he did against the Browns where he throws 4 picks.
Dolphins.
The Dolphins game, which I was at and lost a lot of freaking money on, which drove me insane. Listen, they got rid of Hollywood Brown. They're going to run the ball a lot. The defense is going to be a lot better. I'm objective. He's the 7th best quarterback, but he can move up. And listen, so this isn't permanent. Like, I'm going to see how these guys play. If Justin Herbert, who's 6, if he throws for over 5,000 yards and they go 12-5 and win the division, he'll be moving up. But right now, I got Lamar 7th, and I hope he's watching because motivation is my favorite guy. Justin Herbert. I hope he's watching.
He's probably is.
Justin Herbert. Does anybody throw a prettier spiral in the
Oh
league?
my God.
That dude, the reason they lost games last year was because of their defense, not him. He had a stinker against the Texans and one against the Patriots. Other than that, he was very good. I think with Khalil Mack and J.C. Jackson, the Chargers are going to be a 12-win team this year. I got him number 6. Joe Burrow, that one's my favorite one.
Yeah.
If they lost to Vegas in the wild card, he'd be like 9th or 10th.
Right.
But I got to reward what he did. On the road against the number 1 seed Titans, on the road against the Chiefs, and he beat them. And against the Rams, he was right there with them when his offensive line was trying to throw the game away.
They did throw the game.
So he's a top 5 quarterback in the league. I got to tip my cap to him. There you go.
So, like, do you think that, I know you said you think the Broncos would be the most improved team.
Yes.
Do you think that the Rams got that much worse that you would put Stafford behind Russ going into this year? Like, Stafford basically, other than Odell, who might still come back, has the same team around him. And so, how is he, as the Super Bowl champion, the 9th best quarterback in the NFL?
Because if you ask Sean McVay, put a gun to his head, hey, would you rather have Stafford or one of these guys ahead of him? He would take the guys ahead. But those dudes are better at football.
I'm saying over Russ, though.
I think Russ is way too high on this list.
Russ is so overhyped.
I was gonna say I like Stafford ahead of Russ, just based off because of what Tommy said, I mean, he basically has the same team going into next year, and they just won the Super Bowl.
I don't like Lamar Jackson at 7.
How many games have
Where do you want him?
4?
I think
You like him? You want
when
him
it comes to
Russ on a new team, it's crazy. He's never even played a
That's what
snap
I'm saying,
in a
bro.
Broncos
And
uniform,
it's
and you're
not like
already
his
putting
team
him
is bad.
at 8. His
like his
receivers
receiving
got
core
worse.
is
Yeah, I put DK and Tyler Lockett over Cortland Sutton and Jerry Jeudy.
Yes.
100%.
Yeah.
And I don't know about the offensive line, which is better. These
All
guys
I'd
might, but
say
like,
Broncos. And
I
then
think
they
he's in
got
a
that
worse
electric-
situation.
Absolutely.
Well,
Then
it's a
again,
first-year
like, you just-
quarterback, so you always have to put
Their
take that
defense,
into
their
effect.
defense is better in Denver no matter what. But we're just talking about his performance individually. So
Russell is not top 10. Kyler Murray should be.
Okay, but like,
I
can
don't
you
like
name
Kyler Murray.
offensive
13.
weapons
I
for
think we
Lamar
didn't talk
Jackson?
Wait.
I can't
That's
even
the
name.
issue.
That's
Well, I
what
mean, they
I'm
have
saying.
Bateman. They have
That's it.
Bateman.
Mark Andrews.
They have Bateman. They're getting Dobbins back, which is going to be huge for the run game. And that's really what gets the wheels
Dobbins isn't going
moving.
to be doing a slant.
That's what I'm
You know,
saying.
But no,
it's
but
the
but
point.
it does.
So you
But
think
the
that
thing about
should be
Lamar,
higher?
I think Russell has a way better team than Lamar Jackson, and you just compared Tyler Lockett to Cortland Sutton and Jerry Jeudy. Like those are like vets compared to Jerry Jeudy. This is probably like damn near his
Well,
third year.
Cortland Sutton and Jerry Jeudy have been catching passes from Drew Lock.
That too. I mean,
it's just
I just
I'm
feel like
comparing the
Russell Wilson
weapons.
has a better
Last year
chance.
he had DK and Tyler Lockett, and they won 4 games. Now he has Cortland
That's
Sutton
not-
and Jerry
that's not
Jeudy.
like
How are they
their
going to be
He
fault,
better?
won
though.
7 games.
Same shit.
the O line was
We're
fucking
back.
terrible. Russell Wilson was running for his life. Like,
He was running, but I tell you, the Seahawks didn't have a run game. They have a run game.
Like Javante.
Javante Williams, he's got it. He's
That's
the
true.
stud, and Melvin Gordon in there. That's an element that wasn't there in Seattle.
No,
I think
I
it
think
was
you
Alex
guys are.
Collins.
I think you guys are focusing on the wrong thing. I think you're focusing on that the Broncos aren't going to be as good as I think. Because I think the Broncos will be good.
Well, that might
I
be
think
where we
Russ
differentiate.
is a top 8 quarterback in the league. It's
Yeah.
about Russ only.
I
and
don't-
Lamar just doesn't have the.
listen
I
though,
can't-
listen. This is the thing. We've been saying that about Lamar since like the first year he started, and he's been winning games
That's
every
37.
year.
12
This team is way. I feel like this team is just way worse.
I have no
But
problem with
bro,
Lamar
he
Sutton.
had Hollywood as his number 1, and Hollywood has bricks for hands. Like what Rashad Bateman can't be any worse than that.
True.
I feel like he definitely, even like in
I-
terms of what Lamar needs, a speedster receiver is what he needs. Like, he's
But
not
in
the
terms
type
of like,
quarterback.
it's Lamar Jackson though. He can't be lower than 7 there. Like, I just have a problem with
Dude is
like,
like
the Super Bowl winning quarterback can't be
He's
worse
not.
than Russ on this list. Like
Yeah.
that's really where I have a problem with this. Like he won the Super Bowl last year. Every year before, for the 12 years before that, they was on the lines. He sucked. It only took him 1 year to win a Super Bowl, and he's not better than Russ.
That's fine.
that's kind of crazy. That is kinda
But regardless, let's go to the meat here.
Stafford led the league in picks
I
last
think
year.
you'll like the top 4.
He's a gunslinger.
Top
He's got
four
that
is,
ring, man.
Yeah,
no,
no,
this,
he's a
this is
gunslinger.
where the debate happens.
Okay.
This is
So Jake,
whoa.
Josh Allen was 13 seconds away from being a slot or 2 higher on this list, but I feel like he had 15 picks last year. He can improve. And what he also remember the Jaguars game that they lost.
9-3.
If they won that game, which is a terrible loss, that Chiefs-Bills game would have been in Buffalo.
Mhm.
I want to see him be consistently great instead of
Right.
like spikes and then he gets really bad. Pat Mahomes and Rodgers, those go together. They're both the 2 most talented guys in the league, but they've lost their number 1 wide receiver. We've never seen Patrick Mahomes without Tyreek Hill. And the second half of that Bengals game concerns me. He looked lost, and the Bengals defense was not that great. And he had 1st and goal from the 5 to get to the Super Bowl. He took a 25-yard sack, then threw a pick in overtime. People would probably think he's a Lockett 1, not in my eyes. Aaron, like I said, best regular season quarterback probably ever, postseason. I watched the 49ers highlights again, and I lost money on that, so I was very upset. It honestly, he didn't play great, but the special teams,
Yeah.
the
He didn't lose the
there
game.
were a lot. He didn't lose them the game. Now, he didn't win the game. He didn't win the game either, but
But the special teams and the defense lost them.
it wasn't his fault, and I think that we've seen him without Adams before, and he's won 2 MVPs without Devontae Adams, won 2 with him. I think he'll be fine. And then listen, Tom, I came down to these top 4. I ranked Tom first. Who do I trust to drive 80 yards and win the game for me the most?
Nobody else in history besides Tom.
And
Brady.
I understand that Gronk just retired, even though did anyone believe he's really retired?
Well, his agent said that if Brady called him, they're about to
There
go to
you go.
playoffs, that he would answer the
And I
phone.
know that he retired for 6 weeks, coming back, weird situation. I feel he led the league in yards and touchdowns last year. I feel like even at 45 now, he takes the number 1 spot.
What about the coaching change? Bruce Arians isn't there anymore.
I think that'll help Tom. He obviously didn't like Bruce Arians.
They won a Super Bowl.
They did.
To be honest, it doesn't matter if you have Tom
Right,
Brady,
Tom
who the
Brady,
coach is.
like-
It's not. I'm just saying.
It's a coach.
It's
Tom
not.
Brady is a coach.
It's
It's
not
not
entirely
all-
It's still
popular.
essentially the same regime, like just
It is the
minus
same, but
Bruce Arians.
there's a few differences that here and there.
Regime, yeah.
Good word
It's
there.
the same regime minus Bruce Arians. No, I don't think that coaching change is that huge of a factor. Like if if Andy Reid retired,
Yeah.
that would be a colossal.
Well, no, because you can say the exact same thing. They get in Eric Bieniemy, an offensive coordinator. He's been there a number of years, and you go, nothing's changed. He's Pat Mahomes. He can command it. I would
But I
argue
feel
that.
like Andy Reid is a top 15 coach in the history of the league.
Yeah, no,
Bruce
I agree.
Arians,
Yeah,
I mean, Tom Brady.
but I think when you have talent and you can nurture that and they can become a leader, I mean, sky's the limit. Coaching only can go so far. So, I think the same could be said for Pat Mahomes. But I mean,
The
Tom
thing you
Brady.
said about like if they would have won that Jaguars game, it would have been in Buffalo. The Chiefs lost a lot of bad games last year too, and you can blame that on Mahomes or not. But like for the first 8 weeks of the year, or whatever, like even on our show, we were saying like, is Mahomes really who we thought he was? Type shit. Like that was a real question. And then they kind of figured it out towards the end of the year. So now we just kind of think of him as he's still on that level. But like if they struggle again this year, like maybe he's not a top 4 quarterback in the NFL.
I mean, they probably will out the gate, just because
It's a new team.
it's a new team for him. He doesn't have his number 1 receiver. He's going to be throwing the ball to goddamn Juju.
AFC West has
I mean,
only gotten stronger.
Juju's
Yeah.
garbage.
his
Don't wanna-
division's going to be
Don't want to
crazy.
slander Juju, but he's not Tyreek Hill.
No.
they can't. You know.
So
You can't. Sky Moore though looks like he's an interesting prospect. Let's see how he kind of pans out.
I'm not big on the Aaron Rodgers number 2 pick.
Can't.
I've always been an Aaron Rodgers hater. I'm not gonna lie.
Yes.
I feel like he's as a legendary quarterback goes. I feel like he's overrated in terms of his success. Only
he's
in terms of his
back-to-back
success.
MVP.
Not in talent. But
We
in
sat
terms
in
of
this
his
attic a
success.
year ago today,
Okay.
basically, and you said he was overrated and he
No.
won MVP again.
Jake, what did you just say? Last year it wasn't his fault. How many years have we seen Rodgers get to the playoffs and he's either fucked it up or it wasn't his fault?
No, it was. You know, he got some of the blame last year. He scored on the opening drive and then didn't score at all for the whole rest of the game. But back to listen, how great he is in the regular season, like it's so overwhelmingly great.
I
I
can
take
agree
that
with
into
that.
consideration.
And I
Now-
can agree with that.
Who do I trust to win a playoff game? Like if this was ranking who do I trust to go win a playoff game, I don't know if he'd be in the top 5.
I was about to say, I'd low-key put Josh Allen ahead of him.
Yeah, that's
if
what
we're
I'm
talking
saying.
about
In terms
playoffs.
of postseason, I would put Pat Mahomes above Aaron Rodgers for sure.
But it's not that. It's about the entire body
Yeah.
of work. And Aaron, I mean, he's got like 10 total interceptions the last like 3 years, 4 years.
That's ridiculous.
That is
Especially for how much he
ridiculous.
throws the ball.
Ridiculous.
They really don't have number 1 receiver anymore.
That's just it.
I know.
So
He's,
if they struggle this year, then I don't know if you can say he regressed. Like their number 1 receiver right now is Lazard.
He's gonna have to do some soul searching
That is
because
hard.
it went from Devontae Adams, and then before that, I was looking back. I mean, Jordy Nelson,
Yeah.
Randall Cobb. So I mean, he always had pretty top tier weapons surrounding him. And this year, I mean, he's gonna have to dive deep. Like they drafted that Christian Watson guy out of NDSU. So I mean, they got a couple guys around him, but by no means a superstar. So he's really gonna have to put on a show this year. Maybe rely on the backfield a little bit more. But it should be interesting to see.
AJ Dillon.
What do you make it out of this, Sean?
I would put Josh Allen at 2.
Okay.
I would put Pat good at 3, Aaron at 4. I would put Derek Carr at 5.
Ooh.
Wow.
Ooh.
Okay, first of all,
Over
I think you're clinically
Joe Burrow?
insane. But second,
Yeah,
also,
I'm putting Joe
is
Burrow.
the top 4 good though? Like the 4 guys.
Mhm.
Top 4 is the same. Okay.
Yeah.
I think this top 4 is pretty much
You
universal.
put Derek Carr over Herbert.
I'm Joe Burrow.
Joe Burrow.
And Lamar
I
Jackson.
think
Lamar?
Joe Burrow.
And
should be
Lamar?
top
Sick.
4. Very
Sick
easily.
in the head, Sean.
I'm not putting
Sean's
Burrow
got
over
a
any of
Raiders.
these.
Personally, I'm putting Joe Burrow sneakily in the top 4, maybe over Josh
Who's
Allen.
out then?
Who's out?
It would be
Maybe
Mahomes
over-
because he beat him. That's the argument that you could do.
I mean, I guess. I mean, it's just like when we say beat him, it's a whole team thing. It's
I
a
know.
team sport.
But
at
I
the
think
end of the
Josh
day.
Allen's
So
definitely
you're talking about
better.
just skill wise.
All
Joe
the
Burrow
guys
is.
Joe Burrow.
I agree.
No
I agree with Mark.
No debate.
These are
I
the
like
4.
Joe Burrow.
These are the top 4, not in this order in my opinion, but these are the 4 no matter what.
Yeah, no, that's the 4. I mean, you could debate the placement,
Yeah,
but like
These are the
that's
4
it.
that just did the match, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, well, Jake, thank you for putting together your list here. This is a good list. Good list, Jake.
It was pretty solid.
Spent countless minutes on it. So.
Like and subscribe.